If you guys are looking for a game to pass the time before GTA 6 gets here, check out G2A with the link in the description and use cashback code BOSS if you want to save a little bit extra as well. Hey, how's it going, guys? Mr. Boss for the win here, and in today's GTA 6 video, we're going to be doing a little bit of behind the scenes in terms of how GTA 6 was developed. We'll be diving into all of that in this video today, and a whole lot more. So there was a good bit of discussion on how long Grand Theft Auto 6 has been in development, and there was even references to Jason Schreier talking about how the game was going to be years away when he put out that information, and that didn't even take into account COVID and the pandemic that affected the entire world. But it did bring up an interesting topic. When did GTA 6 kind of start going into development? And we heard from Rockstar Games insider Tez Funds 2, who ended up saying this. I think one problem with that theory is that if GTA 6 was in pre-production back in 2014 and full production started after Red Dead Redemption 2, then was the game in pre-production for 4 years? That's a long time for pre-production. Even some, if not most, game devs see up to 2 years, as since enough AAA devs couldn't spend that much time in pre-production. And he actually linked to an interesting post made by a user, Ask a Game Dev, and the question was, how long does pre-production last for a AAA game? Also, second question, do developers start working on another game right after they finish launching? And their answer was, it really depends on the game. For a game within a franchise that has a strong release schedule like FIFA, pre-production can be as short as 4 months as the developers figure out what they have the time to do. For other games, it can be longer. The development team can spend up to a year in pre-production figuring out the core gameplay for most games, with more time needed for games with really massive scope, like MMOGs. AAA devs really try not to spend that much time in pre-production because the plan should already mostly be in place by the time we begin. We know what kind of game we're making, and we have a solid idea for what kind of gameplay we're trying to build out. The goal of pre-production is to build out the vertical slice of gameplay, a playable example of all the game's features and systems working together. It's worth repeating, the vast majority of AAA games with 5+ years of development time aren't usually being fully built from start to finish. Most games with long development cycles get started, things don't evaluate well, the process gets thrown out, and development gets restarted. Only a handful of game franchises are exceptions to this: Elder Scrolls, Grand Theft Auto, whatever Riot or Valve are doing, etc. Most studios just don't have the financial freedom to burn money for multiple years without anything to show for it. As for your second question, it also depends. After the post-launch vacation time, the development team usually gets split up. Some of the development team usually continue on with the launch game to work on additional DLC content, cosmetics, and so on. Some of the developers can get moved onto another project that's already in progress, usually as part of a ramp up into production. A few of the more senior team members might be tapped to go work on really early development for new game ideas, and some of the dev team will inevitably decide that they finished their last hurrah and tender their resignations to go seek greener pastures elsewhere. So that's a really good explanation, but let's continue with Insider Tez Funds 2. In addition, I don't suppose we would have seen that America's leftover within the Red Dead Redemption 2 files if that were the case. I don't think that leftover would have been accidentally inserted when the devs were locking in bug fixing for like a half a year or so. It must have been there a year prior at a point in which the America stat file wasn't just 2 or 3 stats, but a whole bunch of them. So I think full production may have started at some point around 2016, 2017 with the big initial ambitious plan, but ended up being scrapped, and then proper full production started after Red Dead Redemption 2's release. So I know we used a lot of interesting terms there: full production, pre-production. Those don't all have linear meanings and can be different based on what video game studio is developing the title. So it does seem like Grand Theft Auto 6, though, entered full production sometime around 2018 or 2019, which would have made sense because by then they would have likely all finished up by Red Dead Redemption 2 and Red Dead Online, but I would say about mid-2018, and then that would have given them the freedom to enter, I would say, probably full development in 2018 sometime. And I don't think it's just like one day a switch is turned on and you just start full production. It's probably something that happens over time. But as far as when Grand Theft Auto 6 first started development and giving us sort of the first ever behind the scenes of when that occurred, it was probably sometime like 2015, 2016, or 2017 before the entire Rockstar Games studio probably switched up around mid 2018 and early 2019. And I feel like there's so many things we're not fully going to know. Like, for example, how did the COVID pandemic truly affect the production of Grand Theft Auto 6? And could that have influenced other Rockstar Games decisions, like their decision to release Grand Theft Auto 5 on PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X and S? And that could explain, if that was true, why that game got such a terrible announcement trailer that featured old footage from like the PlayStation 3 era. It really was one of Rockstar's worst trailers, especially with how much hype and anticipation there was for Grand Theft Auto 6. So long story short, we might not ever get the true answer of the real behind the scenes of Grand Theft Auto 6, when it entered pre-production, when it started full production, really until the game comes out, and maybe even longer than that till it comes out on PC and we're able to dig around through the files, because there might be some hints and clues in there or some leftovers from something we might have seen in either Red Dead Redemption 2 or Grand Theft Auto Online that might give us an idea of, okay, this is when they started on it and it probably happened around this date and this year. So we really just will have to wait and see. And again, there is still so many things that are unanswered just because Rockstar is one of the biggest closed books in the entire video game making history, and they probably do so for good reason, especially given how just about everything regarding Grand Theft Auto 6 has been leaked. I mean, even details before there was a trailer or even the September 2022 leaks ended up happening about how the game was going to take place in Vice City and feature a female lead protagonist. I mean, even the trailer itself on YouTube leaked early. Rockstar has just had not good luck with that. So honestly, I think it's just going to make them even a little bit more closed off than they already are. And a handful of other contributing factors, like what the world was like in 2000 and even 2021 and early 2022, which would have been primetime video game making season for GTA 6. So let me know what you think about everything we discussed in this video today. I'd love to hear from you guys down there. And what do you think of the behind the scenes of GTA 6, and how do you think it will impact the final version of the game? Let me know what you're thinking in those comments down below. I'd love to hear from you guys down there. If you guys did go to enjoy this video though, a like rating would of course be awesome, and be sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel if you are new. You want to stay up to date on all the GTA 6 videos that I'll be doing here on my channel, and be sure to ring that notification bell as well. Sometimes YouTube just doesn't work, and if you ring that bell, you'll always be guaranteed to be notified when new videos arrive. But of course, as always guys, thank you all so much for watching. Take care, and I'll see you guys in the next video.